Hi everyone and welcome to One Six Figure Focus, and you're very welcome to episode number 39 of Visions, a series of live stream where every single episode I sit down with a different member of the 1/6 scale collecting community and discuss the past, the present and the future of their collecting journey. This next person, I literally just talked to him for the first time in person, I suppose in person as much as you can be on a live stream, just in a backstage a few minutes ago. I found this guy because I'm curious about those Peaky Blinders figures, the Tommy Shelby and the Arthur Shelby from Big Chief Studios that have just been released a while back. He had a review and a very two different things. You got a review video and then you had a kind of like a thoughts video, which I thought was quite interesting and gave a lot of really valuable information about that particular Tommy Shelby figure. No doubt I'll be asking a few questions about this. So he is a collector, he is a YouTuber, and he's got an Instagram. This is Lancelot from Lancelot's Nerd Corner. You're very welcome here, all the way from the Philippines. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm a huge fan of the show, and so I'm really honored to be here.
Oh, cool. Thanks very much. You're saying all the right things. You're saying all the right things. Yeah, I'm a hack, basically, and people will figure it out eventually. But thanks very much for putting aside some time and agreeing to do this.
Oh,
So
for sure.
you're saying it's what time in the Philippines now?
11 p.m.
11 p.m. So right, so it's your Saturday night. I see you got the red wine anyway.
Yeah.
So like,
Yep.
you're a man after my own heart. And did you have a good day? Were you doing anything before this or?
I just had a just very chill and mellow day. There's actually a super typhoon that's like just gonna brush the northern tip of the Philippines. Thankfully, it's not gonna make landfall, but we were still just advised generally to stay indoors today. And look, I'm never opposed to just staying indoors. I actually rewatched The Matrix, and that
Oh man,
movie is just perfect. Oh my god.
speaking
Yeah.
my language, man. Speaking my language. Do you remember where you were when you first saw it?
Oh, I think I was at a friend's house. Yeah, my
Mm-hmm.
best friend, he was super into like those like older movies,
Mm-hmm.
like action blockbusters, and so yeah, he
Mm-hmm.
showed me a bunch of them.
Yeah, man, he's a good friend. He's a good friend.
Hmm.
These are the type of people you can trust. I'm obviously a good bit older than you, but I remember when it was summer 1999. I was 15. I was really looking forward to episode one, and I just saw the ad for The Matrix a few times on TV, and I was like, this looks really interesting and unique. And I was a big sci-fi fan anyway, because grew up on Terminator 1 and 2, Alien,
Oh yeah.
Aliens, RoboCop, all those old films.
Oh hell yeah.
So I was like, this just looks like a whole lot of me. Went in to see it. I wasn't expecting much. Blew me away. Just that movie. It's just it's. Do you have
It's
any particular
crazy.
favorite parts?
Definitely the hallway scene. That's like the one that jumps out. But I just love the whole like his journey to like discovering what the Matrix is and what the real world is. Like I think the line that stuck with me the most was when Neo asked like, why do my eyes hurt? And Morpheus says, because you've never used them. I was like, whoa, that is so trippy.
And it's Lawrence Fishburne's delivery. His face, he's looking down. It's like he's staring blankly, and he looks genuinely upset.
Yeah.
It's there's so much that goes into making an absolute blockbuster, isn't there? Like, there's your story, your characters, your script, the direction, the actors, the casting, the special effects, the pacing, the editing, the sound design. There's no, and one of those things doesn't land right, and then you know what I mean? It's
The whole thing falls apart.
yeah, they got the full package with the first movie anyway. How do you feel about the second and third?
The second
You can
one,
trash them if you want, because we're a very honest stream here.
I actually, so there are a couple big franchises with like incredible first movies, and then kind of just the second movie doesn't live up. And so the way I feel about Matrix 2 is the same way I feel about RoboCop 2, and the same way I feel about Predator 2, which is I'm glad that there's more, but
Yeah.
they're just clearly not as good as the first.
No, that is, man. I cannot argue I cannot argue with you. And I was about to hit you with the focus question, but you already told me like you answered the question before when you asked. And like, it's true. Like when I think of even like I'm a big fan of Keaton 1989 92. But when I think of Keaton, it's 89. It's the first suit and the first appearance of the Batmobile, and the Jack Nicholson and that bell tower scene, and Vicky Vale, like that. That's and the second one, I still love the second one, but I gotta give kudos to that first one. Matrix, what a movie. Do you know? I love the bit where there's certain movies when I watch them, even they could be 10, 20, 30 years old, I still get similar feelings of the hair standing up on the back of my neck. I get this shiver because it's so good. And that line where Neo is kind of like, he's had enough. He's like, no, fuck this. Like, and he's about to run and he stops. And the way the camera shoots him, and he just turns, and Trinity and Morpheus are watching. And it's like, what's he doing? He's like, he's starting to believe. And that's just even saying it, that just gets me excited. That's just like, oh, what a line. Love it. Look, we're going to address the chat before we get stuck into this conversation.
All right.
Again, thank you so much for being here. We have someone I've never seen before in the chat. We have Exploding Tofu. Some of these usernames, they just crack me up. Someone I'm really, really familiar with, a Big Brother. So Joao here is a member of the Bargain Bin Bro crew, and a very well-respected YouTuber. And if you haven't checked out already, you should watch the episode of Bargain Bin Bros. It was on my channel yesterday. We spoke about the Michael Keaton Batman. We spoke about Wanda. We spoke about Sylvie. Briefly touched on 2099, a bunch of stuff. So it was a very heated argument about that. I say a healthy debate about the Keaton head sculpt. You don't want to be on a panel where it's all yes. You gotta be. It's nice when there's a bit of multiple, respectful, differing comments, and I really, really enjoyed that debate. So thanks for that, Joao. We got William Owens, channel member. Hello, I'm ready to start the long Memorial Day weekend in the US. Excellent stuff. Good stuff. You got a long weekend going on there over there. We got Gilbert's in the house. Good morning. Tiria is here as well. Didn't meet Taria in London at Star Wars Celebration, but I know Austin and Leia and a few other people did. So thanks for being here, Taria. We got a 1/6 shooter. Trevor is here. Great to see you, Trevor. Great to see you in the chat. Thanks for being here. X-Man Supreme, channel member. Good to see you. We got Calvin, aka the Low Key Collector. He was on with us as well in the Bargain Bin Bros as well. We got and I met him in London at Celebration. Absolute legend. Oh man, it's 10 a.m. here in the Midwest. I'm sitting here at a youth basketball tournament, minding the stream cams while I'm watching this. Good stuff. What's the basketball match like? We got Phil, channel member. Thanks very much for being here. We got Renz Tarantino, talented artist. Only John Wick gets better every movie. Oh, I'd say that's debatable. Have you seen number 4 yet?
I haven't seen number 4 yet. I haven't seen number 3 yet.
Oh really? Yeah. I've seen 1, 2, 3. 4 doesn't come out. I usually, movies that I like that I want to keep, I tend to buy them on Apple. I used to get DVDs, but I just started running out of space. But it's available for download, purchase, whatever, in Ireland on Monday. So I might check that out, But I've heard it's available on Prime now, so I might check that out. We got Alston Nicholas, another legend, who's chiming in. He's got me addicted to Monster. I'm telling you, I think my body was a temple before I met this guy, and then he gave me one Monster. Hey man, do you like this stuff? And I felt perked up, and I was like, I was really, really tired, and I just needed something. I've been traveling all day, and every time I have a Monster now, I send him a photo of it, and he's just like laughing at me, But and he knows Kung Fu. Great line. I like this guy. This is Ian, the ancient silver fox. I like this guy on a stream with wine. You're earning brownie points already with the chat. Go you. Paid in 23. Great to see you. Uncarded reviews. That new Batman is amazing. A lot of hype there. And X-Man Supreme says the entire John Wick series is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to the new figure. Good stuff. Love that. Really quickly, I just want to get a little bit of background music. Oh, it's working. Oh, it's all right. So good stuff. So I want to make sure that we've got everything right here. Bit of housekeeping before we get stuck into this conversation. We got this going, and all right. So there we go. Right. Sorry, just a bit of new members. Really quickly going to fly through the members. Thanks very much to anyone who is supporting the channel and has become a channel member, whether you are a trooper or whether you are a commander. It is very much appreciated. If anyone would like to join the channel and check out the perks, it's on the membership tab, and I'm posting into the chat there the link to become a channel member, a trooper or a commander. So really quickly, the troopers: Payden23, who's here, Mugwump, Andre, Chuli, Bendu Windu, Collector, Joey, Ryan Smith. The commanders, we have Alan, the 6-scale gallery. We've got X-Men Supreme, who is in the building, 12-inch Moose Stream, Philip the Fool, Keith, the 6-scale Padawan, Mark Mitchell, William Mones, who's also here, Brandon Salad, Phil, Empire Strikes Again, who is also here, Collecting Weekly, and Boba Fettuccini. New videos on the channel, my thoughts on Wanda, In Art Harry Potter, Miles, Keaton23, new streams, The Hope Show episode 1, 2, 3, 4, Bargain Bin Bros about Batman, upcoming stream. You're watching this right now. Looking forward to getting stuck into this conversation. And a big one as well, on Wednesday we've got Dean Knight. Do you follow Dean Knight on YouTube? You think you're muted, brother?
Yeah, I do. He's an absolute legend. Yeah, I follow him a lot.
Like, anyone who's a diehard Batman Begins Dark Knight fan is good with me. You know, that's why the Bargain Bin Bros actually have an Instagram, and it's like Dark Knight Buddies, because we're all just big fans of that. And this guy's like, he just loves Batman Begins, and he custom takes, you know, mediocre Hot Toys figures and kit bashes them and makes like the ultimate version and stuff like that. And he's not afraid to tell it like it is. I just watched his reaction video to that a new announcement for the Keaton Batman. But yeah, I think we're pretty much up to, no, that was from yesterday. We're good to go. All right, folks, just in case you're watching and you want to support the channel, we got little kind of icons, I suppose, sound effects for super chats and stuff. We got the Star Wars, just has like some great bloody sounds. Yeah. Right, so tell me, I'm going to stop talking now because we're not here to listen to me, they're here to listen to you. We're going to talk about the process, more accurately, you're going to outline the past of your collecting journey. So I'm going to hit you with a bunch of questions. I'm not expecting you to remember them all. I'm not expecting you to answer them all. It is not a test. There is no score. I just want you to know, like, you know, how it all started for you. Like, what were you collecting anything at the time? What was your first Hot Toy? Who did you buy it from? How did you react to the price? Did you think it was going to be one and done, or did you realize you've opened a rabbit hole or started down the rabbit hole? You know, how did you feel when you got it in hand? How did you react to the price? Were you collecting anything at the time? Just talk us through and we'll listen.
All right. So I guess the very first thing I ever started like really collecting was Legos when I was really young. I loved to build them. I would build them and I would like speed build them. I would build them as fast as possible and then display them in my room and stuff like that. But there never really was like, it wasn't like a curated thing like with this. Like I had Star Wars, I had Batman, I had like the city stuff, some medieval stuff. So yeah, that's like the first thing that I can really remember collecting regularly. In terms of 6 scale, the way I was exposed to it, so I'm a huge video game nerd. I love video games. It's like my #1 hobby. And I was looking at some statues from my favorite video game, The Witcher 3. And they were actually made by the studio who developed the game. They like partnered with another statue company. I'm not sure who, but I was looking at them, not at all thinking of buying them because no way I was going to buy a statue as my first thing. But I was just admiring them. And I was like, I want at least like just like a small one, just like even if it's just like a cheap plastic one. So I found one on Amazon and I was like, all right, let me look up some reviews of it. Just like, even if they're, you know, few and far between, a couple thousand views, let me just see what I'm getting into. Found a review, and then in the recommended tab of YouTube, I saw a video from a gentleman named Justin's Collection. And it was a review of it was a third-party Daredevil from the look from the first season. So it wasn't like the red and black costume. It was like the black vigilante thing, and I was like, well, that looks interesting.
Is that
and
the
so I
one with
watched
the ropes?
the video.
Sorry to cut you off. Is that the one with the ropes on the hands?
Yeah, it's by Hot Heart.
Yeah.
It's the one with the ropes in the hand. Super cool. Love Daredevil. The first season will always have a special place in my heart. So that's how I first got exposed to 6th scale. And I ended up getting the figure from the Devil's Workshop. So that was my
You
first
do know
ever...
I came up with that, yeah?
Yeah,
I'm claiming that. I'm claiming that. I'm actually. I find it
should.
hilarious the way people who have never met sometimes use it. But sorry, go on.
So yeah, got it from the Devil's Workshop. I didn't know better back then, but so yeah, and that was my first ever 6th scale. My first hot toy came a few months, like about a month after, because I didn't realize how deep I was gonna get into this until like the first few weeks go by, and I'm hankering for more. So the first hot toy I ever got was actually this guy right here. Wait, the Batman Beyond from Arkham Knight, and
I'm joining the dots here. I'm joining the dots here now. You mentioned Witcher 3. You're a gamer, yeah, and you had a Twitch as well. You were mentioning, so like you. That makes perfect sense, like, you know, why you'd go for this one for your first, and you mentioned Witcher 3 as well. A lot of people in the chat are chiming in saying Witcher 3 is a fantastic game. Sorry, continue on.
So yeah, I was actually replaying Arkham Knight when I found this, and so I was like, it must be fate. So I got it from it's like a local online marketplace here in Asia. It's like the equivalent of like an Amazon or a Mercari. It's called Shopee. And so yeah, it's just like an online marketplace, and I got it from there. And I mean, I was just hooked the second that I opened it, and I pulled it out, and I felt the weight, and I started moving the joints around, and the accuracy to that in-game model. I was absolutely hooked, and that just like I went down the rabbit hole. Since then, I did kind of get into a bit of like that new collector frenzy. Where you don't really have a plan for it. You're just kind of, you want that plastic.
You're just frothing at the mouth and pre-ordering like crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like, I didn't even really have a direction for my collection. I didn't have a vision, so I was just collecting some like. I had some Marvel stuff, some third-party stuff, some Hot Toys, some video game stuff, and I did kind of get into a bit of a frenzy. And I, like 2.5, 3 months after I started, I kind of had to take a step back and kind of slow things down, and realize, whoa, I'm spending a lot of money here, and I need to really like think about how I'm gonna continue with this hobby. And I stumbled upon one of the first live streams I ever watched, like in full, was Anthony from 6th Scale Mafia. He had on Ty from Uncommon Flex and Dante from Man of Hot Collectibles, and the whole discussion was just about like the financial aspect of the hobby, like just the reality of collecting sustainably for financially, or the amount of space you have. And that was like the first time I ever listened to a discussion about collecting in that specific with that specific perspective. Like, the most live streams are usually just talking about the figures themselves and stuff like that, which isn't bad, right? It's great that we're also excited about these awesome figures, but the financial aspect is really important for like new collectors to hear about, so that they really know what they're getting into. And so that discussion, that live stream, was really valuable to like me kind of turning the corner and snapping out of that frenzy and being able to actually sustainably plan out my collection financially in terms of the space, how I wanted to display my figures. And it allowed me to have that vision of like, okay, I need to have like categories that I want to collect. Like, it can't just be every franchise. It can't be every character. It has to be, DC, Marvel, whatever. I mainly collect DC. We can get into that in the present section, but yeah, that really allowed me to just kind of shift my mindset. And collect more sustainably.
So what you're saying is you needed to focus your collection and have a vision.
Exactly. Yep.
Like I capitalize on these keywords. Right? What's funny actually, so your first ever 6 scale was the third party Vigilante, which is the Daredevil. It was, that must have been like his. I'm not too familiar with Daredevil. I do remember watching the first 2 seasons of a Netflix show a long time ago. I probably need to go back and watch them again. But is that like his first night out type outfit? He kind of has like a balaclava over his head, but of course he didn't need eye holes because he's blind, and he had like the ropes on his hands.
Yeah.
And your second then was your actual first hot toy, and that was the Arkham Knight, yeah?
Yeah. What's
funny is like you got enabled by Justin, and when I met Justin really briefly at Star Wars Celebration, it was a big group. There was like Calvin, there was Lael, there was Austin, there was like Attention Seeking Geek, there was Reviews Rich, there was a big massive bunch of us, and Justin came in as well. And I just very briefly spoke to him, just kind of shook his hand and said, nice to meet you. Been following your channel for a while. You've actually saved me a lot of money. And he said, that is the opposite to what I usually get told. Because he's used to people going, I've spent so much money because of you. Or I presume like Jeddah gets the same thing, blame Jeddah.
Yeah.
I've never really seen it like that. I think like I take responsibility for my own, missteps and mistakes, or what I want in my collection or what I don't want in my collection. Like there's no one is in control of my wallet, only me. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the time I'd be like 50-50 in a figure. And maybe I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's not as good as the prototype. I watch all the reviews from like the biggest channels to the new upcoming channels, and I will watch Justin or Jeddah or Manahawk Collectibles, whoever, and I'll be kind of going, because essentially like what Justin does really well is he shows you everything. You know what I mean? And then you can decide, like, okay, so it comes with all these accessories. The articulation is good or bad or whatever. The head sculpt looks good or it's not pointed. These are the poses it can do. This is its range. And it's up to you to make a decision. So a lot of times I've watched his videos and I'd be like, yeah, it's not what I thought it would be. It's not as good as the prototype or yada yada. And then he's actually saved me a lot of money. So it's a bit of a different kind of a take on it. But yeah, so could continue on. This is interesting.
Yeah, so now I'm actually quite strict with myself in terms of like the types of figures and the franchises I collect. I really mainly only collect DC. I don't collect Marvel or Star Wars, even though I love both franchises. But I just really had to, like, in that moment where I realized I needed to slow down, I was like, okay. I remember actually my wish list. I have a wish list, like a folder with all the bookmarks of like the listings that I was looking at. A bunch of them were like Marvel, Star Wars. I just like purged everything, and I was like, that was like a really eye-opening moment for me, because I was like, yeah, I guess I don't really need this character. I don't really love this character as much as I thought I did, and I just removed them, and it allowed me to kind of like see clearly. That haze of collecting addiction just like lifted, and yeah, now my vision for my collection is pretty straightforward now, and I pretty much know what I want.
That's pretty cool, because like, I find that, okay, I just don't collect Clone Wars. I have no animated. I've no like anything. I've nothing from Into this Spider-Verse. That may change. I do love that new. I just love that look of that new Miles with all the jacket.
Oh yeah,
and all the gear. Yes, man. I think that's awesome. But I don't have any. I'll never have any sequels. I'll just never have any sequels. I'm not the biggest prequel collector. I have like Cody because I'm a trooper collector. So I typically don't collect the sequels or the prequels. The Clone Wars I don't collect, so that's I see myself as like I protected myself a bit, because every second week there's a new clone or there's something from the Clone Wars, and I'm like, I don't have to worry about that. But you have gone a step further. Like it's we all know DC doesn't get as much love as Star Wars. Like here now, it's Star Wars gets a shitload of love, and then you got Marvel, and then you got DC, and I think maybe a few years ago it might have been Marvel, Star Wars, and DC, but DC's always on a bomb. So. And that's not because obviously it's bad or anything, just for some reason, I don't know, maybe Howard doesn't like or whatever, but some of the DC stuff they release is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we've seen what happened with Keaton during the week. We've got the 2.0 of Keaton coming. We got the Batman, the Bat Signal. You got the in-art Batman. You got the in-art Joker. Then you got like even like I'm getting that quarter scale Dark Knight, Christian Bale DX19 style because it's phenomenal. Do you have any interest in that?
The quarter scale one?
Yeah.
I don't collect quarter scale. It's a bit out of my budget.
I was thinking you wouldn't because of how refined you seem, the way you're putting across. Like so, yeah, that's very interesting. I'm actually admiring behind you've got the 66 Batman and Robin. I see the boxes and I see displayed, and I see the two boys there as well. Like that's something now I could definitely get on board with. Like, you know, I don't know. For a while there, I thought they might have done a 2.0 reshoot. I don't think that at a long enough timeline they release everything, but I don't think that's going to happen somehow. I'm just going to really quickly address some of these chats and then we'll get stuck back into the conversation. So shout out to Phil, again, channel member. Thank you very much for the £2 super chat. And we have the there's something I feel that the start of that clip needs to be a little bit longer because I don't really. Yeah, I'm definitely going to adjust that one. But Utini, not sure what it means in Java, but thank you very much. And here it means thank you very much and appreciate the super chat. So we've got, who else do we have? We have got, so everyone's basically agreeing with you. The Witcher 3 is fantastic. Barrett is saying great figure. We got Ryan, hey chaps, channel member. I know the feeling well. Yeah, the Frenzy and X-Man Supreme agrees with us. Dave, Collector Frenzy. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I feel like that's definitely me. Only kind of directed. Only kind of directed. Oh, I get you. Yeah, I get you. You're just you'll find your focus. Pun very much intended. It's a slippery slope once you get started, absolutely, and these conversations are very important according to uncarded reviews. Completely agree with you, Lancelot, and completely agree with uncarded reviews. The Blind Vigilante by So, yeah, that's the one that he has. Thanks, Joe. X-Man Supreme saying, it's a dangerous hobby. January of last year, Hot Toys were prohibitively expensive to me. Now I'm like 1,500 for Batmobile. Sure, no problem.
The goalpost for the price keeps moving.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So like in terms of then like, so you, how did you, when you at the start you got the Blind Vigilante and then you got the Arkham Knight Batman. At that stage, you were like, were you kind of going, yeah, this is fine. Everything's fine, or were you like, oh no? Because you kind of described it there that you kind of went, you didn't just think it was a one and done. You the floodgates open and you went straight. I want this for a while.
I dove straight after the White Rabbit down the rabbit hole.
Excellent.
I just went to like all the different sites where you could get figures, Sideshow, T-Dubs, other like Toys Buying Agent, KG Hobby, all of them, and I was just like flipping through the pages of like what's available, what's on pre-order, and yeah, I'm glad that I was able to just like focus it and just purge all of the unnecessary stuff out.
And you find that like, see, I see now you have you've obviously refined it to DC 1/6 scale. So like, did you get rid of then, say, the likes of the Blind Vigilante, and did you literally get rid of all your Marvel and all your Star Wars then?
No, I never collected Star Wars, and the Marvel I did have an Infinity War Thor, which I did sell, but the Blind Vigilante, maybe it's for nostalgia reasons, but I can't, or maybe it's just because I don't want to go through the hassle of selling, but I still have it. It's just boxed up.
That makes sense. We're just gonna, I think we're gonna put you on a bit of pressure here and ask you a few questions. This is always a stupid question. So I started off with an initial question, but the real question is the question that comes after the initial question. Do you have any figures on pre-order now?
Yep.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I don't think anyone ever actually, I think maybe there was one person I had who came onto the show and didn't have any pre-orders, if my memory serves me correct. But so you have pre-orders currently. Now I'm not going to ask you to air all your dirty laundry out, but if there was one figure that you could at the end of the stream have like given to you right now, as in like you could pick one figure out of your current pre-order list, not your wish list, but figures you've gone, I'm getting that, I put the deposit down, they're on a payment plan, I'm getting this. If you could snap into existence right now one of those, what would it be and why?
Okay, it's a tie between the in-art Batman and the 89 Batman Deluxe, but I'll say that the in-art Batman probably gets the edge, because I'm just so excited for that figure, and I'm so excited to see what in-art does with it. The Batman is actually it's up there with Batman Begins as my favorite Batman movie. It's like the Batman and Batman Begins are like straddling 1 and 2. They change places depending on the time of day. So I really, really love that movie. I loved Pattinson's Batman. And yeah, I just have like so many questions about what InArt's going to do with it. How's the articulation? What are the materials they're going to use? How good is I got the sculpted hair version. So I'm interested to see how good that's going to be. Yeah, and I just can't wait for that representation in my collection.
Yeah, that I've got the Hot Toys Pattinson Batman, the deluxe one with the modular base and the bat signal, the kind of all-in kit with the Hot Toys version. I'm considering getting the in-art one as well. I've been chatting to Lion Rock Toys and they're kind of saying, yeah, look, there's one there for you if you want it. And I want to get the kind of rooted hair because I'm very impressed by the rooted hair in-art Joker that I have. Did you do collect DC, but did you go down the in-art path or?
Yeah, I actually did pre-order the in-art Joker. I got the sculpted 2-pack, but I pre-ordered it a while back with T-dubs, and yesterday on the Bargain Bin Bros stream, Joao mentioned that the reason why T-dubs didn't get the in-art Harry Potter pre-order was because they haven't paid in-art for the Joker. The Joker batches, so I'm a little bit worried. I might have a headache presently, but and it's actually my last pre-order, or it's my last order with them, and whether or not they give it to me willingly or I have to, rough them up a bit, it's probably going to be the last ever.
Yeah, well, if you want to get your money back, what I did was obviously. What I did was fairly public, but I don't really have something for them. I was just like, nah. Because the thing is, I remember when, say, 2017, 18, couldn't go onto the Facebook page without someone giving out to them. And I'd been ordering for them for a while, simply because the bottom line, when I factored in, their drop down prices with their not so drop down shipping costs and the fact that I do get import charges with them, it was working out cheaper. So I've a good few figures with them, and they made a few missteps, but they always fixed it. And I was like, all right, fair enough. 20% coupon here, 20% coupon here. And then it was almost like they did one thing. I was like, nah, I wasn't happy with that. Another thing, and then the in-art Joker was just the final straw. I was like, yeah, fine, the box is huge. Yeah, fine, no one could anticipate the size of the box. Then don't quote $95 shipping for it.
Yeah,
it's just that simple. Do you know what I'm saying? So now I got the refund with them cash and got it with Lion Rock, which is it's just better. Just a better service, and in fairness, their prices, because when I buy with them, I don't have to pay customs, and that's huge. That is huge, because we get stung. A lot of people in the UK get stung, and Ireland definitely gets stung every time you buy something outside the EU. So it just works. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, here in the Philippines, I think it's like a 25% customs tax. This is one of the reasons why I also don't usually get. Yeah. Right. And I think from the States, it's like 30%. And so that's why I don't often get from Sideshow, unless it's on a massive deal. Yeah, that's exactly I mean,
say if you just like this, I've done this before on streams, but like just like really quickly, just give it a very, very, very simple example. So like if we take 1 second now. So if we just take like a really, really simple example. So let's say you have a figure that's $300, right? From Sideshow, $300. The shipping to Ireland will cost me 50, and that's if it's a standard 6 scale. If it's a quarter scale, it's going to be significantly more. If it's a 2-pack, significantly more, or maybe a deluxe with a big box. So that's 350. Then it gets to Ireland because that's worth more than €100, and I'm importing it from outside the European Union. I get hit with another 30%. So you multiply that by 1.3. So the $300 action figure now costs $455. Like, that is unsustainable for me. Whereas if I go to say Lion Rock, they might have it on their site for $350, but that is the worldwide shipping cost. So I will get it for that because I don't have to pay customs. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. But and then if usually I don't buy figures just to review them. I buy figures because I love them, and I check the different websites for different the costs of different things. But usually when I go to them and we talk, and we've kind of like, basically if I review it, I'll get it for cheaper. So I might get that for $300 or $250 or something like that, whatever. It depends on the figure. So it's like, it's just, and there's no hassle of will I get this or not. It's coming, So we have similar situations in terms of tax and why we can't buy from Sideshow.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, American streamers get that. And I know a lot of American people in the community get that. But there is a large proportion of the 1/6 scale collecting community who do not get that and cannot understand why not everyone orders from Sideshow.
Yeah.
Like, I if I had €1 for every time I've explained that, like, it's...
And I do really like Sideshow. Like, they have great customer service. Like,
yep.
you they're going to take care of you.
Absolutely.
It's secured, and I like that they have like the built-in payment plan system. Like, it's not like a third-party infrastructure. Like, partially,
I love the payment plans.
It's built in the website. Yeah, I love payment plans. So it really does suck because I would love to go with Sideshow like every time, but I just can't.
Yeah. It'd be like you said sustainability earlier on. Mm-hmm. And for the likes of us ordering from Sideshow, it's not sustainable. Like, it isn't, because they're expensive enough already. But then you tack on all that kind of stuff. It's not really sustainable. So we're going to move on, and we've kind of adjusted the past and the kind of how you started off and how your first figure. And where did you got the Vigilante from the workshop, and what about the Arkham Knight?
It's like an online marketplace called Shopee here.
Shopee, yeah, Shopee, gotcha. And then you had your frenzy, and then you kind of realized, okay, this is unsustainable, and you refocus. Brilliant. So we're going to move on from that, from the past to the present. I do have a few questions as well. Just to kind of, again, you don't have to answer them all. I'm not expecting you to remember them all, but just to kind of like, just get you started, maybe see what direction you can take it in. But before we do that, we got to do this. Okay, so just going to go to the question bank and pick one out at random. I have a bunch of these questions here. Sometimes I tailor make them, and sometimes I just go to the bank. So, right, okay. Okay. Have you got anything in? There's about 3 different parts to this question. Have you got anything in the last, say, week or month? Just last month. Have you got anything in, and have you dropped anything off? Have you bought anything and got anything delivered, and have you sold anything?
Yeah, last month I sold, I had a duplicate of this guy, Kingdom Come Superman, and a gentleman reached out to me and said, hey, he actually wanted to buy this one, but I actually had a duplicate brand new in the box, and I was like, hey, I've got a brand new one sealed in the box. I could send you that one. And so, yeah, sold it to him. Super smooth, really great. And then I
was that SSR?
Yeah, SSR.
Yeah, did you buy one to rock and one to stock?
It's a bit more complicated than that. It's a bit of a long story, and it involves Toys Wonderland.
If you want to tell it, I'll listen to it, and I'm sure the chat will too.
Okay. So when the SSR Kingdom Come was released, I was like, it was pretty expensive, and it was like the I think to this day it probably might be one of the highest priced figures I've ever gotten. And so I was debating, with myself for a while if I was gonna get it. Eventually I did, and I got the 2-pack, the deluxe version. And so I was like, okay, boom, got it, love it. And then SSR made a Superman. It was the black suit Superman from the Return of Superman comic, which I love. So I was like, okay, gonna get that one. Got it, and this is partially my fault. I didn't open it right away, and so when it I think maybe like 2 or 3 weeks had passed, and I opened it up, and as I was pulling it out, I was like, this box looks familiar. I pulled it out all the way, and it was the box for the Kingdom Come Superman, and I was like, no freaking way did they send me the wrong figure. And I opened up, and it was another Superman, and it was it was just the single packs. It was just the Superman, and I don't know why I didn't. I probably didn't want to have to deal with them, like sending it back and then getting it. Maybe they probably would have charged me something. So I was just like, okay, whatever. I'll live with it, and I'll just keep it, stocked. And so it kind of worked out perfectly, because a guy, he reached out to me, and I said, hey, I've got a brand new one, can send that one to you, and sold it. So technically didn't really lose any money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair enough. I've heard sometimes I've heard multiple stories where they send 2 copies of the one figure to somebody, and they just say, yeah, just keep it. Or well, often the people don't go, hey, by the way, you've sold me 2 copies. As in, let's say you pay for like I don't know, some Mark 46 Iron Man, and then 2 arrive, within a week of each other. Like I'm gonna be really honest here. I wouldn't reach out and go, hey, you sent me 2 things. I'm honest. I'm not that honest. That's like, especially with the company you're dealing with, I'd be like, no, yoink. But I've heard stories where sometimes some people do actually go, yeah, look, you sent me this twice. People with a good moral compass, and they go, just keep it. They sent me a Remnant Trooper, but that was to make up for something they did, but like they kind of lost an order, so they refunded me, and they sent me a Remnant Trooper. I did kind of suggest, and they were like, yeah, grand. So I was like, so that was pretty damn cool. I don't think you're going to have that kind of service again. I think those days are gone. But yeah, probably. Just want to catch up on some of these chats here. Gilbert says, I'm considering the in-art Batman also, but I don't know if I should go sculpted or rooted. You got 2 different, I think we're on opposing sides there. I haven't locked in that pre-order, but I would, if I was going for the single pack, which is the one I'd be interested in, I personally would go rooted, and then Lancelot's has already locked in the sculpted single pack. Would that be right? Yeah. Yep. So personal preference, really. Do you prefer sculpted over rooted, or is it a financial thing?
It's kind of both. Partly it's a financial thing, but also like all my other like hot toys are sculpted hair, and so I was like, okay, I'll just go with the sculpted hair. But yeah, mostly financial.
So it kind of fits in like as well.
Yeah.
I get that. X-Man Supreme says, if I were to go with in-art, I feel it just makes more sense to go with the rooted. But you're already spending so much money for the sculpt to just go the rest of the way, and the Joker hair looks sick and amazing. Yeah, that's kind of like my train of thought, and I've no interest in the Harry Potter figure. I've seen all the movies, and they're fluffy, and they're good, but I'm just not a diehard fan. And if I was to, but I know if I was, I'd be like, oh man, that bloody rooted sculpt, just with the scar and stuff, it just looks. And I really like the base. I think it's bloody cool. We got Ren's Tolentino here, the talented artist. Is Ren's based in the Philippines?
I don't know, because he said good morning earlier. Right. I think he's Filipino though. I had a feeling.
Because you can see this flag here. Sorry, my geography is not on point. That's not the Philippines flag, is it? It's like,
I can't see it. It just
like
says,
it's really small. It has like a blue strip on the top and a red strip on the bottom. It has like a white triangle. Okay, so I think maybe he's based in the Philippines. Good stuff. The talented artist that is Ren's Talentino.
That's so
X
cool.
Brand Supreme. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So he says good morning in what's the language? Is it
Tagalog.
Say again?
Yeah, Tagalog. That's the language.
Right. And he just said
Yeah.
good morning in the local language. Then.
Mabuhay. It's more of like just like a greeting, like
Gotcha.
literally it means live,
Mhm.
but it's just used as like a greeting.
Cool. Mabuhay.
Yeah, Mabuhay.
That's the new thing. I'd say my pronunciation is less than stellar. But an Irish guy speaking a language from the Philippines. Mabuhay. So that was Ren's Talentino, who maybe he'll confirm if he's in the Philippines or not. I need to find a vendor that I can trust, like Sideshow, when I want a third-party figure. I do know, again, I buy from Lion Rock a lot, and I don't typically buy third parties a lot, but I have heard a lot of people who do, and they use them and they've had good success. But do your own research before you decide on who you want to buy from. Got Josh Blue Tattoo in the building. William Owens is saying shipping can be expensive. You're absolutely right. $400 to ship my Jazz Ink Snow Speeder. In fairness, that thing is absolutely huge. I'm not surprised. Only thing that scares me about the Rooted is if it looks as good as the Proto. I can only comment on the one Rooted figure I have. Well, technically two. And the In Art Joker, definitely. They have delivered on that. Ben Thomas of the Ben Thomas Show. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Missed you yesterday on the Bargain Bin Bros, but we will stream again, my friend. Only a week left of school, so I'll be trying to get a staple in that Sunday Let's Get Nuts show, if that's all right with you. All right, so the present. Again, just a few leading questions. You can choose to answer them or not. So, how many pre-orders do you have at the moment? What do you have on pre-order? Currently, what are you? What's on your wish list now that your finger is just over that click buy it now button that you're kind of really, really at the moment, just about to pull the trigger on? What are you looking forward to in the next few weeks coming in? How do you choose? I can see you have some details in the background there. Like how many figures do you have in your collection? Who's your go-to retailer? So I suppose, how are you displaying at the moment? Who's your go-to retailer? What have you on pre-order? What are you looking forward to right now?
Okay, I did count recently. I think I have around 25 or 26 figures, maybe a little more, because I did actually add these guys recently, and I've got currently 3 figures on order. All Batmans, funnily enough. The In Art Batman. I actually got the Hot Toys, the Batman as well, with the modular base, but without the bat signal. And the 89 Deluxe. And I'm really
the 2.0.
Yeah, the 2.0.
Yeah, nice.
And I'm probably gonna pull the trigger on the modern suit one that was just revealed, because I really like that. But yeah, for pre-orders, that's pretty much it. And in terms of how I display my stuff, I think you can tell this is my Batman shrine over here on this side. I have the Affleck Batmans at the top. I've got the DX19 over there, and then a third party Batman behind it, the XE suit, and some Starry's Batmans down there. And
I do love that DX19. Big fan.
Yeah.
So you're like a real Batman guy then. He's your guy.
Yeah, in terms of the hierarchy of my collecting priority, it would probably be Batman, and then DC in general, and then video game stuff, and then film and TV.
We're very different in that sense, because I'm not a gamer at all. And so that takes out, again, that's okay, I don't have to worry about getting any gaming stuff. Whereas I'm movies and TV, whereas other guys are their collecting is rooted in purely in comic books. And whereas mine is rooted in my love of movies and television as well, but mostly movies, but obviously Mandalorian, stuff like that. But that's unique. Yeah. It's cool the way everyone is so different. Some people's their nostalgia is rooted in movies like non-science fiction, non-superhero, non-comic book, just like regular movies. Like people want like the Fight Club figures, you know, or people want you know, the Leon the Professional figures, or figures from Saving Private Ryan. You know what I mean? It's like pretty cool. Sorry, the question for you there, Trevor has a question. I've heard in the Philippines weather can be tricky with rooted hair. Is Lance tempted by any of the in-art figures? I think we kind of touched on that, but you want to just take that?
Yeah, it can. It's very hot and humid here, so yeah, the rooted, it may get frizzy a bit quickly, a bit quicker than maybe if you live in a colder climate. And it's also one of the reasons why I try to avoid like pleather stuff, like and if I do, I make sure to like take care of it pretty regularly, and make sure that, you know, I maintain it so that it doesn't actually the BVS Batman up there, that was the first figure that I ever retro reviewed, and it had some pretty bad flaking and like peeling issues. It's basically disintegrating before my very eyes. That's why I'm never gonna move it from that pose. But yeah, I got it here from a local retailer in the Philippines. I'm pretty sure they had it, you know, stored in probably not a temperature controlled storage place, and so the heat and the humidity probably got to it. So yeah, I try to avoid like pleather, and like I did consider that for the rooted hair as well for in art.
No, it's and again, like it comes down to like everyone's go-to retailer is going to be different depending on your geography, you know, depending on your, you know, your income, depending on what stage of your life you're at. So therefore, people's like, if they want to get pleather, if they want to buy a figure that contains pleather or rooted hair, that could be different depending on your climate. Like, you know, whether people use display stands or not, like myself, that could depend on if you're living on a fault line or not, you know what I mean? So, or if you have you know, whippersnappers, little kids running around the place, like to bump into things. So there's so many different considerations. Everyone's so different. So like, actually, I believe it's time. Again, I shouldn't be giving you warnings. All right, so back to the question bank. I think you answered this one already. What is the most exciting Hot Toys announcements that they've made recently?
Oh,
you can take your time.
I would say for me personally, it would probably be the 89 Batman 2.0, because I know that there was like a lot of speculation if it was going to happen, if it wasn't going to happen, the timing obviously with the upcoming Flash movie. And I think from what I can kind of tell from the community, that was like one of the most requested 2.0 figures. Like every time, you know, there was a 2.0, Hot Toys revealed a 2.0 that the community felt was a bit unnecessary, I feel like they would always bring up the Batman 89. Like, why did you 2.0 that one? And then plus with the base and the seemingly improved articulation, I feel, and then they teased the Bat computers, that whole diorama. I don't know if they'll ever actually come out with that, but that's also exciting. So yeah, I feel like overall, just like the 89 Batman was such a, it felt like a moment like in the community when it first dropped.
It was that was a big deal. I think that was one of the biggest announcements of this year. Like, you know, more so than the modern suit, because I'm not a big massive fan of the DCU. Like, and I do think, as much as I like Keaton, like it is 89 92 for me. So I could be like, I've got that 89 on pre-order, I've got the Batmobile, and I'd be willing to work backwards and pick up a DX08 Joker and just call it a day. That new one looks amazing, but I gotta see that movie first. And
yeah,
it could be just fan service for the sake of fan service. Everyone's hyping it up, and a lot of time when things get hyped up like that, I hope I'm wrong, but I watch with an open mind. The DCU, and I think they need a big win, but it depends if the movie's good, you know? Like, you're obviously hyped for it, yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it, and I've heard, you know, the reviews are pretty good.
I
so
heard that
far.
too. Yeah.
So, but you know, yeah, I'm excited, but I'm gonna go in with my expectations a little bit low, and hopefully it'll blow me away.
Yeah, you don't want to. I would take reviews and hype with a pinch of salt. All right, I just want to go in.
Yeah.
And I'll see if I enjoy it myself. But yeah, we're going to give you a few back to back here now.
Back to back.
So you're a content creator, and just actually, by the way, just in case anyone's watching and they haven't subscribed and checked out Lancelot's Nerd Corner, I want to make sure I got these details correct. I thought I had this moved off. Give me one. There we go. Okay, so Lancelot has his own YouTube channel. It's Lancelot's Nerd Corner on YouTube, and on Instagram it's at Lancelot's Nerd Corner without the apostrophe. Okay, so if you're looking for on YouTube, you need the apostrophe in between the T and the S of Lancelot, and on Instagram you don't. So as a YouTuber yourself and a content creator, so you're a collector, content creator, YouTuber, when you like look at other 1/6 scale content creators, YouTuber, you mentioned Mafia already, you mentioned Manahawk Collectibles and Ty. What makes you click that subscribe button? What makes you want, I'm actually gonna tune into this guy's next video, or this group of people's next live stream? What brings you back and makes you click that subscribe button?
Ooh. I would say the content creators that I've, consumed the most content from, I would say I was most drawn to their personality, because they really allowed it to shine in their videos, in their live streams and stuff like that. Lael is such a positive and welcoming person, and he's so respectful and kind. So that really drew me towards him. You always, you shoot it straight, you say it how it is. I appreciate that.
I get in a lot of trouble for that from time to time, but I appreciate that.
But honestly, sometimes the community needs it. And so, yeah, I think just allowing your personality to shine really kind of, I think you would just naturally draw more people towards you and to see your to see more content. And it doesn't need to be like the most like energetic, enthusiastic, whatever.
Hype
just
beast.
just being yourself and like just saying it how it is, or not being afraid to say what you think. I think that's that's one of the reasons why I love Dean Knight. He's also another person who he's very honest. He just says it how it is. It's also one of the reasons why I started that new series Off the Cuff, the more like opinionated stuff, because my reviews are very like structured and like organized, because I want to be able to be as thorough in my review, but in as little time as possible, very concise. And so that doesn't allow me to really like let my personality shine. And so that's why I wanted to do more like on camera stuff. So yeah.
That makes sense. I really like asking that question. I've asked it several times before, and I think like I've heard consistency, as in consistent content, like instead of like dropping 10 videos in 1 week and then no videos for months. I've heard like honesty and transparency comes up a bit. I've heard just offering a different take, or having your own opinion and not going with the crowd. And there's a lot of that kind of, but personality comes up a bit as well. That's a great answer. So like some streamers you gravitate towards, and some you don't. That's just life, But Shooty popping in here, channel member, thank you very much. Bottoms up, absolutely. And Lancelot has done the same as well. He's arrived here. He's on the red wine tonight. I think backstage, he showed me that glass. It looked like he had to. Oh God, he's cutting into it now. It looked like you put like a good half bottle into that glass, and I was thinking, yeah, we're gonna get along just fine. Shout out to the commanders and the troopers. Thank you very much for keeping the lights on. And again, if anyone is interested in becoming a channel member, or just there's a link in the chat there. So I'm actually not going to let you off we're going to go again. I'm just I'm enjoying these your responses. So this is a funny one. All right, so also as a content creator, I'm not sure if you hit this stage in your content creation yet. Maybe you have. have you got any salty comments, and how do you deal with them?
I've gotten not too many, but there was one that really irked me. It was on my Tommy Shelby review. Somebody said, talk about nitpicking. And I was like,
Right.
what? And I wanted to respond with like a whole essay. I wanted to quote him the definition of nitpicking and give him examples of why I was not nitpicking. I showed evidence to support my argument, and I said why I explained why I thought the things I did, and I don't think I nitpicked. Maybe I did, but I don't think I did. I think I touched on stuff that was really relevant to the figure. So I had this whole response planned out, and then I realized I just spent like the past 10-15 minutes of my life thinking how I was going to respond to a guy who just said 3 words.
Yeah.
And I kind of like sobered up, and I was like, I refuse to have any more. I refuse to have any more of my time wasted by this person. I refuse to get stun locked, and I just put it out of my mind. So yeah, and I just ignored it.
That's a pretty good. I like that, because it's because you putting that on your mind is probably better, because you don't want some dude at the opposite end of the world living in their mom's basement making you annoyed. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I think who do I know? Maybe they're the CEO of some company and they've got it good, but like, it's, you kind of have to expect, if you're putting content out there onto the internet, that not everyone's going to agree with you, and there will be salty comments. And the thing is, I always commend people who, I've said this on multiple streams and videos, I always commend people who comment, they go through trouble of, because if they're commenting, they've gone through trouble of watching the video, and maybe they like, maybe they dislike, but they comment and they say, thanks for the video or something like that, but look, I completely disagree with you. They make an effort, because something can be lost in text. So like, we've all done it. Like, we've misinterpreted a text message, or we've sent a text message or wrote a comment and someone's misinterpreted. Just make that effort of, okay, I appreciate you doing a video, but I completely disagree with you. I think the price is more than fair, or I think that headscope's a dead ringer for that actress, or I get that. But you do get ones which are like, they've none of that. It's just like I'm trying to think of an example. Like, I don't know. I suppose maybe I don't think about them that much, so they don't come to my mind. But there are ones which were like, kind of like, definitely like, oh, that's salty. That's someone who wants a reaction. And I suppose depending on what mood I'm in, sometimes I'm like, nope, block, just gone. I don't need your sub that much. Bye. Because it's like, I don't need that shit. I put like, half an hour into my day making that video. Go fuck yourself. Like, it's like straight out like. But then other times I'm like, I showed him to my girlfriend, and we have a good laugh going, look at this guy, and we actually genuinely get entertained by it, and then write something back real sarky, and it's like we laugh at the response. Then so we get a bit of a kick out of it. Like, but it's funny, man, because like I don't think people, until you have gone through the trouble of, first of all, getting your equipment right so you can actually record a video. 2, recording the video and seeing how awkward it is to make those first videos. You're talking to yourself in a room. Yeah. And then realize, okay, your audio is too low, or your audio is clipping, or you're in focus or out focus. And then you actually get the stuff down, and then you edit it, and you obsess about it. You're like, until you've done that and put the time in, a 5-minute video is not 5 minutes. A 5-minute video could be an hour. It's funny, like, so I definitely. And it's funny, like, I asked Jeddah that question. He's like, nah, there's loads of people in the world. I don't need to talk to them all. I'm just like deadpan. I was like, yeah, I respect that. It's like, so it's weird. Some moods I'd be like, no, block. Don't need to see that. Because if it's there, I have got some stuff which is a bit like, I'll tell you what it is. This is a good one. So I got this comment, and it was by the same guy. He came back a few times, and it was definitely a bit derogatory. It was like, oh, I've just had it with like, Disney causing all the Marvel stuff to be woke. And I was like, and it was definitely a bit like real salty, yeah. And I just messaged back, define woke, because it's like, okay, if you're going to do this, we're going to have this dialogue. I want to know that you're intelligent enough to have the dialogue. I want to know, do you know the vocabulary you're saying? So like the definition of woke is alert to social injustice, in particular racism. That is the actual definition for it. So the guy, instead of like spending 5 seconds to go to dictionary.com, goes, okay, see you later, wokesta. Like, I couldn't control the laughter. I was like that's just hilarious. Like, you know, come on, if you're gonna put the comment out there, and you're gonna make time to watch the video, write the comment, and and if I have a little retort back, come on, you know, put the gloves on. But wasn't able to. But I would have had the dialogue, but then again, I don't have the time or the crayons to explain this stuff to people. So we're going to address some of the chats, but salty comments are always fun. I just subbed as many people so I don't miss out on anything. Good stuff. I'm sure they all appreciate the support as well. 16 Cave. Someone once commented that I had a really annoying voice. And you know what? You probably got in the same day, you know, I really like your voice. You know what I mean? It's Justin, I've definitely heard him say multiple times that, like, I think I saw on his story, it was something like, 2 comments from the same video. One was like, oh my God, your voice is so annoying. I don't think I've ever disliked a video on YouTube. And I sure as hell hasn't gone on and trolled someone like I might troll my friends 16fix and Joel, but that's in good fun. But then the same video had someone going, oh, I find your voice really soothing or whatever. So like, I remember Justin explaining that, whatever. Shout out to Alan, 6 Skill Gallery channel member. Thanks very much for being here. Thanks very much for being a part of the channel. And Phil, of course. 16 Cave says, another asked me about a figure that I actually answered in a video. I asked if they'd watched it and he replied, no, you're a bit too boring. Like, I don't know, man. Yeah. That I think I'd hit the block button then. I think I'd just be like, yeah, look, it's you don't need the subs that much, do you? X-Men Supreme, you like that one, don't have the time or the crayons. Some people need that visual aid. Peter, Triple G, great that you're here. Justin has a great voice, should be on the radio. Alright, so we're going to move on to the future then, which is always kind of a hard one. So a few kind of like warm-up questions. I typically ask everyone the same warm-up questions. Do you still see yourself collecting in 5 years' time?
Yeah, 5 years, yeah.
Okay. Do you still see yourself collecting in some capacity in 10 years' time? You might not have to have the same number of figures, but like in 10 years' time, would you have something you collect, even if it's slowed down or maybe you don't have the same amount of display? Do you still see yourself collecting in 10 years' time?
I'd like to think so, yeah, but yeah, 10 years. So it's not just the 10 years, it's also like the period in my life, because I'm 23. So in 10 years, like I've heard that the 20s is you change the most. So yeah, I would like to think so. I'd still be collecting in some capacity.
Yeah.
By the time I'm 33.
This is the hard one because no one really knows. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where you're going to end up, where life's going to take you, if you're going to travel, you're going to jobs, whatever. But like, do you see yourself collecting something or in some capacity for the rest of your life? Again, it doesn't mean that you have a YouTube channel. It doesn't mean you have 100 figures. It means that maybe there's 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 figures. Like, I don't want to let go of them. It's a hard question to answer, but what do you think?
Do you know what? I think so. And I think it would probably be comic books. I'm also a pretty big comic book collector. And if I ever have children, I'd like to pass them down, to them, and then hopefully like down the line. So yeah, probably.
Good stuff. So at this point in time, we're going to kind of, what is your vision for your collection? As in, if you could kind of go empty room, forget about money. Let's say money's not a problem. Like, as in, like you've got the money. What does your ideal collection room, display room, man cave, whatever you want to call it, look like? You want like a hall of detox like Lael? Do you want like the modu cases, you know? Do you want the custom-made garage shelves? Are you a Billy bookcase type of guy? Are you going to have a TV in there? Are you going to have like a, you know, a nice gaming chair? You're going to have a couch? Or you're going to have like a surround sound setup? Like, what is your ideal? Forget about money. What would you envision your ultimate collection room / man cave, whatever you want to call it? What's it look like?
All right, if money isn't a problem, okay, picture this for me. Hallway is gonna look like a cave, and there are gonna be bats hanging from the ceiling. Boom, enter. The room on the left wall, there's gonna be a life-size Christian Bale Batman. And then
I knew I liked this guy.
case. And then next to it, a Maja case for like just Batman figures. I want every single version of whatever Batman, third party, Hot Toys, whatever. Boom. And then next to on the other side of the Maja case, life size Pattinson Batman.
Awesome.
And then another Maja case, DC, just general DC stuff. And then on the other side of that Maja case, life size 89 Batman.
Nice.
And then on the other wall, so now we're facing front wall from the hallway, I want Detolfs, like a nice clean display like yours, one per shelf, Star Wars stuff, OT, because I only really truly love the OT.
This guy, he's talking the talk.
OT stuff. And then probably like a life-size Vader as well next to it. And then another set of Detolfs, Marvel stuff. And then on the other wall, there's gonna be a bust of A New Hope Luke Skywalker, because I love that farm boy look. It's probably actually I don't know if it's my favorite. And then TV, huge TV, massive surround sound system. And then on the other side, a bust of Return of the Jedi Luke. And then in the middle, it's gonna be like sunken in. What's that called? I think it's like a conversation pit. I think that's like the interior design term.
I've never heard of anything like that.
Where like the floor is like sunken in, and then there's like a couch. Right.
Oh, I kind of visualize it now. Yeah.
Yeah, and the couch is gonna be like the Millennium Falcon couch, and then in the middle it's gonna be a nice glass table, and then there's gonna be a rotating stand.
Man, you've given some thought to this. It's one of these ones that you see, like, check out my collection. These guys on Instagram walking into these like amazing, like custom built. You know, it looks like it has the Death Star Hall on one side. It's like the Millennium Falcon cockpit and other place. Who does this? But go on.
And then in the middle of the table is going to be a rotating stand in its own individual acrylic case. I'm going to have like a commissioned Tommy Shelby. Nice. Like a really super nicely tailored Tommy Shelby in its own individual acrylic case spinning. And then I'll probably have like a wine and whiskey bar on the side. And then boom.
And then you will rest. Good stuff. Yeah. So you've actually had like a proper, like an ultimate vision. Like that'd be pretty cool, man. That'd be pretty cool. So I have to ask you questions about that Tommy Shelby. Like, so first of all, you didn't get the Arthur, I believe. You got the Tommy.
Yeah, just the Tommy.
And man, I really like it. I really like it. I know that you definitely you had your criticisms, and I respect that you had your criticisms, because then it's like I don't want someone just tell me everything's great, because then I don't know what I'm getting in for. I prefer people point out, like, you know, the flaws and stuff like that. Is that the regular version, or is that the signature version that comes with a signature?
It's the regular version.
Okay, because it blows my mind that they actually have the signature versions for like, it's an extra like £30, I think, but it actually comes, it's not, I thought the signature version was a scan of his signature, but they actually made 400 of the Arthurs with, he signed 400 of them, like, you know, and 400 of the Tommies. It's an actual signature. That blows my mind. And those 400, I'd imagine they're not going to be around forever. So I'm just on that
Yeah.
knife edge at the moment. Like I want Cillian Murphy's signature, and I would love a Tommy Shelby in my collection. But I don't know. Do I want the Tommy and the Arthur? I kind of want both of them because he might be a bit isolated on his own. But my question to you is, having the figure now, with your, we can call them criticisms. I thought they were quite constructive criticism, whether you want to call them constructive criticism or nitpicking or whatever. With the flaws, the drawbacks, would you still pay the exact same price again?
Ooh, the exact same price? Probably not. I'd probably want it a little lower.
Okay.
But yeah, for the price that I did get it at, I think I'm still
Who did you buy it from?
overall
Sorry.
happy.
Who did you buy it from?
I got it from Sideshow, actually, and I actually pre-ordered the. I don't know. Did Sideshow carry the signature edition?
I don't think they did. I think Big Chief directly carried the signature.
So I pre-ordered the standard version, which is just the one that Sideshow had from Sideshow before I went on Big Chief Studios website where they had the signature. So I was kind of locked in at that point. If I did have a choice, I think I would have gone back and got the signature, and it would have been. I think that the Cillian Murphy signature would have been all worth it.
That blew my mind, like, because I'm on Big Chief Studio a lot now, and I see as well if I buy the two of them together, I get them a bit cheaper as well. And I just been hovering over that. The button there, my finger's been hovering over the button for the last week or two, like, and like there's the revenue from my channel, like I think from when I first became monetized was August 1st of last year, and then I said that because basically the community had been so good, like at helping me get monetized and all that kind of stuff. I said all the revenue from Super Chat, Super Stickers, all that kind of stuff from August 1st to the New Year's Eve of last year will be dedicated to like a children's hospital charity. That was done. We raised over €1,000. It was massively generous, the community was. But since then, I've been just taking the money and popping it into like a little savings account. And the idea is that I reinvest that back in to the channel itself. Like, so I'm kind of getting a bit close to the point where I can get like a Secret Lab chair. I want to get a good chair because I spend a lot of time in this chair, and it's not enough back support. You know what I mean? I do a lot of editing and a lot of streams, and I'm getting to the point where I can nearly afford to get that chair just from the revenue from the channel. Like it's about 6 months of revenue. Obviously, YouTube doesn't pay that much, but I'd nearly flip and kind of go, oh, just invest that into the Tommy Shelby, or you know what I mean? And just kind of go, you can get the chair eventually. But I think my back will thank me if I just stick to the plan, like, personally. But
there is something that I would say you need to consider with those gaming chairs, because I used to have a gaming chair, and I just quite recently switched because I was having really bad like back aches, and I realized why. It's because I have like a DX Racer. I'm not sure if the Secret Labs ones are designed the same, but you know how they have like these kind of flaps that are like angled out of the chair, kind of near the shoulder area? Have you seen that? Yeah. So I have pretty broad shoulders. And what would happen is that if I tried to sit up straight and lean back, my shoulders would hit those flaps. And it would push my shoulders into internal rotation and just round my back. And I would get really bad back aches, like in the middle of my back. And I was like, I had that gaming chair for like 2+ years. And I was like, why is my back aching so much? I'm trying to sit up straight. And yeah, I just finally realized like it was like pushing my shoulders forward. Yeah. And so I couldn't really sit properly.
And is that like bucket seats on a, like some sports cars kind of have the kind of like the seats that kind of come around and wrap around you? I wonder, is it similar? Because I was looking at the Titan Evo. I'll see the one I was looking at. We actually, while you're here, actually, would you mind taking a look at the one that I was looking at so that you can kind of go if it's the same issue that you had? So I want to, 1 second, let me see if I can get this one up. Because I know that there is ones you can get with, they have a little kind of supports for your feet as well. 1 second, I'll get that up here now. To chairs, Titan Evo. This is a pretty slick website, if I do say so. Right. 1 second, I'll get that there. So I'll show you the exact one that I was looking at.
There was a really cool Secret Labs chair that had like it was like Batman themed.
I see that,
really
yeah.
Considering it.
So I'll just share this. Right, so share screen. Where is it? So this is the one I was looking at, but is the kind of those are the sides you're talking about, are they?
Okay, yeah, it seems to be a little bit better with Secret Lab.
Is that because the
chair
chair
that
itself
I had was
is
like
wider? Maybe.
Yeah, it seems to be wider. It seems to maybe accommodate more space, but you might have the same problem. Like
they come in
overall.
different sizes, and like there's small, medium, large, and they give you like the height recommendation for small, medium, large, and the weight as well. But yeah, I was kind of looking at it's just because I do spend a lot of time. You know how it is. Like if you're spending a lot of time sitting. But yeah, that was just something. I got to take a look at the Tommy though. I just while we're here, that bloody Tommy Shelby. See, this is a terrible thing now because I'll be looking at this and then after having a few beers, like, go on, just pre-order it, YOLO, go for it.
Yeah.
It's a terrible, 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 terrible idea. But and you were saying that the head sculpt, you said it's the opposite to what we normally have. Normally, it's you think you see photos of something as like it looks good, but it looks better in hand. That's what you said in the video. But then in this one, you reckon it photographs better than it looks in hand. That was a unique take on it. Yeah, it's a pretty. I actually think this is great. So overall, do you like the figure? Overall, would you say like the pros outweigh the cons, or were you like, no, you're really disappointed by it, or what do you think?
I would say the pros outweigh the cons. For me personally, as a huge Peaky Blinders fan, I do think the overall presence of the figure, just like with the full outfit, it really is spectacular.
Yeah,
like especially the coat and stuff like that, and you have like the
coat wired?
it also has a ton of accessories that you can pose differently. Like I do think overall, if you're a really big Peaky Blinders fan, I think it would satisfy you.
And is that coat wired? It looks wired.
Yeah, the bottom here is wired.
I think it looks pretty cool. I really like the pose as well that you have it in. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's all kitted out, ready for a showdown with Luca Changressa.
Yeah, he's ready to do damage. I'm just going to address some of these chats really quickly. So X-Men Supreme. My man has a collection Batcave in his mind palace. I got one too, and it's dope. Good stuff. X-Men Supreme. I would legit have an actual Batcave under my house. I would have the glass case with all the Batsuits, the armory. Yeah, we got Mike in the building. If space and money wasn't, I copped it too. He's always trying to get me to read out his name. I'm well wise to him. Although Marco yesterday was caught out big time. It was quite funny.
That was so funny.
Yeah. Now he says he knows the guy, but I reckon he got caught out. Tremble Dust had the same for years. DX Racer back started to hurt after 2 years or so upgraded to Secret Labs. Pain is gone. I learned you have to get a chair designed for your body type. Appreciate that feedback. That's good stuff. Make sure you get the model that's designed for your body type. It makes how do you do that? I mean, I know that there's small, medium, and large, and on the small they give the recommendations for like a range for height and a range for weight in kilos. So I'd be a medium in their categories. But Tremble Dust, is there another way? Is there another link that you have to read about your body type? Like you say, I don't know, is that the thing you're talking about, or is there more? Because that's quite interesting. Because I don't want to drop that coin if I'm gonna end up with back pain or whatever. Like, I mean, this chair, it's like it doesn't give me back pain, but it's just like there's not enough support. It's not comfortable. You think I need those, just a bit more support in the lumbar area, and just some even like what do I call them? I'm losing my trail of thought now. Just the kind of the parts for the armrests. Sorry, brain fart there. Good. So, thank you. I love this. The chair chooses you. Brilliant. Everyone's Harry Potter mad these days. AJ Hot's hometown hero is in the building. He's absolutely churning out the content. It's like he doesn't sleep. He's like Chuck Norris. He doesn't sleep. He waits, or creates, should we say? Creates a lot of content. So, folks, thank you very much for being here today. We've got one final question for you, which you finish all the stream as you probably prepped for this if you watched any of these. I really hope this never happens to you or anyone in the audience, but humor me. It's a ridiculous question, so we need some ridiculous answers. Your house is on fire. Okay, the place you live in is on fire. Everyone is safely outside, all your loved ones and your pets and stuff like that, if you have any. You have time to safely grab 3, not 4, not 2, 3 1/6 scale figures. No vehicles, no quarter scale, but you don't have quarter scale, no statues. 3 1/6 scale figures. What are your 3 fire figures?
Okay, I think the first one is definitely going to be my first ever hot toy, the Batman Beyond from Arkham Knight. It was the one that started me on this crazy awesome path of collecting. So, and actually, Batman Beyond is my favorite Batman. I grew up watching the animated show, and I just love it so much. So yeah, Batman Beyond, that I'm grabbing first. The second, I'd probably take okay, I can't. This guy, that's Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed 2. I'm not sure if you've heard of the Assassin's Creed franchise.
Yeah, I've heard of the games, alright, but never played them.
Yeah, so that is like probably like my top 3 favorite video game franchises of all time. I played like most of the game, like 90% of the games, and there are a lot. And AC2, which is where that figure is from, it's widely regarded as one of the best, if not the best, in the franchise. And that's definitely a grail figure for me. So I'd take that AC2 Ezio, and then probably the Reeves Superman. I love it. I love Superman 78. The theme song itself, just like whenever I'm in a bad mood, I just play the theme song by John Williams, and it's like the sun shines brighter or something. And yeah, I just love I love the what the character stands for, and I love that the representation. So yeah, I take that Reeves Superman.
Excellent stuff. Brilliant. You kind of had them very, very quick. A lot of people struggle with that particular question, but you handled that like a champ. So is there anything coming up on your channel that you want to plug?
Yeah, next week I'm gonna do another episode of Off the Cuff. It's gonna be on Samurai Batman by Star Ace. It's from the anime movie Batman Ninja. And then I'm currently working on a retro review for Suicide Squad Harley.
Excellent stuff. If you haven't done so already, please go to Lancelot's Nerd Corner on YouTube and subscribe and follow at Lancelot's Nerd Corner, all the one word, on Instagram. Yeah, what's coming up on my channel? The only thing I've planned at the moment is it's episode number 40 of Visions this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. That's 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. West Coast with Dean Knight. So really looking forward to that particular conversation. Also got fusion reactors in for the Mark 1 and the Mark 6 behind me. Wired them up today. I'm just going to work on hiding those wires before I do a little bit of a kind of a showcase and just kind of maybe give my thoughts on them and explain how they work, because I really had no idea how it worked until I actually started wiring them up. So yeah, thank you very much for making the time to do this. I know it's getting late over there, but I really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks very much for contributing there to the information you put out on that review with the Tommy Shelby. I definitely like the way you not only just said it was all positive, but you explained some of the drawbacks and wild things that I'd have to be consider before pulling the trigger if I do pull the trigger. So everyone in the chat, thank thank you very much for being here. If you enjoyed yourself, consider hitting that like button. If you're not yet, subscribe to the both of us. And yeah, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the stream. And yeah, that's pretty much it. See you, folks. Thanks to all the troopers and commanders. And we are out of here.